Hey guys, it's Frescobaldi, and wouldn't you know it, it's plugin review time. Today we're going to talk about OTT. So this is a freeware plugin, which was put together by music technologist Steve Duda. You can find it at extrarecords.com/freeware. OTT was modeled after a preset that you can find in a stock Ableton plugin. So a little bit convoluted, but that's what it is. OTT stands for over the top, which is the name of that original preset. So Steve put together his take on that preset for his friends who weren't necessarily using Ableton at the time. So why go through the effort of propagating an Ableton preset? This plugin has a really unique sound. When I think of compression or utilizing compression in a traditional sense to sort of lessen dynamics, it's usually not my end goal to make the sound brighter. So although OTT functions as a compressor, particularly like a downwards, upwards, multi-band compressor where you have some finer control, it has a very distinct, bright sound. I don't want to talk too much to the sound of it right now. We'll sort of listen to it in the DAW. But I felt the need to show scenarios in which I've used it because it's sort of a meme at this point. But I think that there are very musical and almost magical ways of using this plugin. So let us explore my particular use cases for OTT. So in this first use case, I have it on a sound which is playing a very slight role in the song. So sort of in support of other more important elements. But it's this choir sample which has sort of a syncopated rhythm to it. It's very basic, it's like one note. So let's hear this alongside other elements within its subgroup first. So you can sort of hear it, the da, ba. So now we know what we're listening for. Let's listen to this in the mix. What I hope you've noticed there is that whenever OTT was off, our choir sample lost a little bit of presence, but with the OTT on, it lifted the sound a bit. So I'd be amiss to not talk about the settings, right? So I wish to claim that the only parameter that you really need with this plugin is the depth parameter, which is another name for the dry wet. So here I had it at 26% wet. There's an idea that I have with this plugin where if you're affecting one sound in like a sound design context, you can get away with higher wet levels, or in this case, higher depth levels. Conversely, if you're going to use this on the master, I wouldn't have it at such a high depth level. Usually there it would sit somewhere between 4 and 11%. I know that that's very particular, and there's hardly ever hard, fast rules for this kind of thing. But that's just what I find. I'm sort of getting ahead of myself, but let's continue here. If you're enjoying this video, you can consider becoming a patron. So on Patreon, I have a couple of cool tiers for you to choose from. You could maybe recommend a topic for my next video. That's all for now. Let's get back to the grub. So this track is a little bit lo-fi. I'm just going to play a selection of it. And I'll do it without OTT, just to start. So I say lo-fi in that it might be lacking high frequency content just a little bit. Okay, so where does that lead us? I decided that in order to give this track a little bit of lift in light of the deficit of higher frequencies, I decided to have OTT on the master. And I chose a depth level of 11%. Let's play this back again, toggling OTT. So this room isn't even calibrated yet. I can hear a very distinct difference still. So I find this to be a very robust creative tool. I will say that I don't always reach for it on the master. Usually I'll choose between this sort of setting on OTT or just a general shelf boost with an EQ8, somewhere around there. If we take a look at it, it looks like almost 3K. But we'll toggle between this EQ8 and OTT just to see how we like the differing approaches. So I think that's got it. In preparation for this video, I purposefully didn't watch any other video on OTT. Just a brief search showed that other people have their own ways of using it, and I'll be curious to sort of dive into that after this is edited and posted. But I hope you found this useful. Let me know in the comments what you think about my approach. If you found this video to be helpful, then please consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.